What does dominant really mean? Yep. You know what you want. So if you are going into the park and a dog charges you and you don't know how to control that dog of yours and keep your dog safe, are you acting like you know what you want? Yes or no? So how much credibility have you lost there? So, you're correct. You know what you want. Absolutely. The key is, do we know how to get there? Right? So the second step is, you know how to get there. Which means, do not question yourself. Would you agree? Do leaders question themselves? Not in public. It's correct. So if you're with your dog and it's going wrong, should you sit there and say, oh, God, I got doubts? Should you shut your mouth, wait till you get home, put the dog away, go for a 100-mile drive, and figure it out in your head? If you sit there in your living room questioning yourself, your dog's going to know. Do leaders have guilt? Right. How many of you guys have felt guilty? At work for 12, 13, 14 hours, and you have little poopsie home by themselves. Who has guilt? So I'll leave this question of guilt. An army general goes to war. He suffers guilt. Will he lose more troops or less? Huh? What one do you think it is? He will lose more. Why? Yeah, he's too busy trying to figure out how to become innocent and to focus on the real challenge at hand. Win with minimal casualties. So if you have guilt, what are you really sacrificing? Do you not think you're sacrificing your dog? You'll waste too much damn time riddled in guilt as opposed to try to figure out how not to be guilty. I have watched my students over the years do this repeatedly. And tell me something, does guilt exhaust you? Good. So if you're dealing with a predator and you are exhausted because of guilt, what does a predator do prior to killing his prey? He exhausts them. So, are you looking like prey in the eyes of your dog because you are exhausted? Yes or no? You're toast. Anything else? Selfish? You are technically in it for yourself. Let's elaborate one more time. You know what you want from somebody, they have to give it to you, but if you only sat there and expected it, would it pass or fail? It would fail. A dominant expects nothing. Because when you expect something and you don't get it, what leads to it? Resentment. I learned this a long time. It took me a lot of therapy, but I finally got it over it. You expect nothing from nobody other than from yourself. Other than yourself. Do you remember what I said earlier? Your job is to touch whatever you love and care about and make it better for it. The minute you fall into expectation, they're not doing better. They're going to feel miserable because they can never meet your demands, and you will never be happy. That makes it a demeaning situation. Do dominants demean and suppress? Think about it. Do they demean and suppress? No. After all, you're in it for yourself. You want everybody to excel so you don't have to work. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to just walk out the door with these two, never have a leash, go right down the sidewalk, down and up and down the yellow line, talking to your friend and having a wonderful day, and they do everything? Well, they do that. So who's really doing all the work? They are. I'm never tired. Never. Every dog I have goes boom, 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 boom. They do everything. I get somebody's boarding dog in, and my God, it's like having 10 of mine. It's horrible. Horrible. No, yours is pretty good. I used to leave him loose. He didn't go anywhere. Okay, he actually was good with my old guys. Yeah. Okay, from yourself, do dominance teach success? Yes. So failure is not an option, is it? I have two sayings. Failure is not an option and neither is pain. What do I mean by that? My son knows what pain not an option is. What's up with pain not being an option? Keep on going. You keep on going. After all, if you want strength from your animals, what must you be like? Just as stronger. But it takes strength to support something than it is to demean it. Doesn't it? So dominance, teach success through support and self-esteem building. They don't go, psst. Do dominance shelter or allow experiences to prevail, providing they are safe? Huh? Correct. So I'll give you a safe experience. I'm raising a puppy to have no fear. And all my dogs don't have it. And I've always said something about puppies. Where do I put them once they're weaned from their mother? Outside. What must they learn to deal with outside? I don't care how cold it is. They need to learn how to find shelter. They need to learn to deal with the elements. They need to learn how to hear the different sounds that might scare them. And in the end, I place it in a safe environment that nothing can get to them. What happens once they ride that storm? Yeah, nothing bothers them. Absolutely. However, if I were to do that while it was in the woods and the coyotes and other dogs could run to their little safe haven, would I be creating a positive end result or an absolutely drastically negative one? Okay, so let me take it one step further. If I'm going to socialize my dog to be friendly with dogs, should I put it in a situation where other dogs knock it down and demean it? What do the progressives tell us to do? And let them sort it out on their own. Really? Do you really want a dog sorting stuff out on their own? So I don't want to get too elaborate on it, but I'll say, if Max was pissed right now at Shauna and he wanted to sort it out on his own, what would Max do? Now, why would I want to give him that mentality? Okay, so here it is. Part of this kindness is what we expect from dogs. We don't expect anything here. What should you expect from a dog? Nothing. A dog will be a dog. It is up to us to decide what the outcome is. I can prove to you that the stronger the dog, the more reliable the dog, and you'll see this through this whole seminar. The softer dogs will have trouble focusing. They can't get through it. It's a bloody struggle. The strong, bold ones that come in here on their hind legs, give them 10 minutes and everything's peachy keen. All right? What else does this dominant want? He promotes with affection and reward. You do a good job for your CEO, he's taking you out to dinner. You don't, they're pissed. On top of that, you do a good job for that CEO, and you'll get a raise. Why? Because it motivates you to do more. So how many of you guys has given the dog the whole enchilada all at once? So can I ask you guys something? What do you got left to give now? Better start cutting off some of your muscle and start feeding them, because there's nothing left. What do you got? You will gauge it accordingly. How many of you guys were born? Well, maybe some of you guys were, and let's use this as an example. How many of people do you know that were born with a silver spoon in their mouth and never had to think a day in their life? Everything was taken care of. I know someone like that. How far do they succeed? As long as the one that's giving it is still alive, they succeed. So ready? You give your dog the whole enchilada like the progressives tell you. How much success do you have? Can you cut it loose? Will it sit home alone? Will it expect every moron that comes in to visit that dodes all over it and it doesn't react? What do you got left to give? Have you given too much of yourself and you have nothing left to give? If you were to live life thinking like that, and you did this in a relationship, how long does a relationship last? Jump in the back of the car on the first date. Tell me how far it goes after that. Maybe 48 hours, and that's about it. Are dominants needy? Do you know what I mean by needy? Do they need to make their subordinates happy? Do they have a need to do it? A very, very important CEO said to me once, and he's one of my mentors, he said, you know, all of these people need me. And he hated it. Because he said, when somebody needs me, they kiss my ass. And I hate people that kiss my ass because they have something to hide. I surround myself with people who don't need me. Because then they don't kiss my behind. But what they do need is to succeed themselves. And all I'll do is give them the opportunity to do it. So an ass kisser is not to be trusted. Would you agree? So how many of you guys have had your lips stuck to your dog's butt? We're going to get into that. Finally, most important is you don't set them up to fail. How many of you guys that, especially in rescue and sheltering, or tried something where it goes good for the first 2 weeks and it goes sour later? Anybody here? That's because you set them up to fail and you didn't see the failure accelerate. You need to know the path you follow without question. Do not question yourself. You'll see me through this whole thing when we get dogs working in that very soon. I don't question myself. If a dog is lunging at you, I don't care. I just keep on going. I don't freeze and go, just keep on going. If you want the dog to learn that it's irrelevant, what must you make it? Yeah. If you sit there and don't want the dog to sit home alone by itself, don't make it a big relevancy when you come home and you go, oh, hi, baby, I'm so sorry I left you alone. Did you have a good day? And dote all over it. What have you done? It's called guilt. And you're just trying to satisfy yourself. Here it is. Does the dominant satisfy themselves, hoping everybody else will go without it? Or does he work on his subject satisfying them? So when you have the ability to satisfy your partner in life, how strong are you? And if you can't satisfy them mentally, how weak are you? And finally, if you can't do it mentally, how far does the physical end of it really go?